Disclaimer: due to the amount of clips of fighting/violence and mentions of death in this video, I had to censor some of the video to keep it appropriate for YouTube terms of service. I hope you enjoy the video and keep an open mind on this topic. Thank you.
The IRL basketball community. A place where everyone can share their love of basketball, whether it's competitively, casually, or just for fun. The community has gone through what I believe to be 3 different renditions, at least to what I think was mainstream at the time. The first generation of just simple and casual 1v1s between personalities, then the second generation was full of a competitive style of basketball, whether it was 5v5s or just games in general, and the add-in of actual college and high school level athletes. And now the third generation, which is, well...
What you want to do, man? What's up, man? What you want to do then? What you talking about? What you want to do, man? Hey. The camera. Camera up across the street. I don't care about these cameras, bro. I promise I don't. I don't. More of like a thing for me than
Yeah. This. Now, why is it like this? Well, the person we're going to talk about today is who I believe will ruin the IRL basketball community for a considerable amount of time. And that person is Nick Briz. But we'll get into that and many other things. What's your boy, Alvini Linguine, as into why I believe Nick Briz will cause the downfall of the IRL basketball community. In this video, we'll talk about the history of the IRL basketball community, Nick Briz's rises to the top, and why I believe he's a nuisance to the community in general. There will even be an interview with another YouTuber about how he explains his views on this situation, but as usual, you already know what I have to do. The like goal is the usual 1,000 likes to help support the channel. Subscribe if you are new for more interesting basketball content every week for your enjoyment. And finally, follow me on Twitter and Instagram for channel news, and follow me on Twitch for weekly streams. And with all that out of the way, you already know who it is. Roll it!
He incurred an injury dealing with weights in the weight room, so he stitched up in the left hand doing all this.
It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, no one really knows how the IRL basketball community started. In fact, you can argue that basketball 1v1s are as old as YouTube has been online. Everyone in their own way wanted to share their love for the sport, how good they were, and just be entertaining in general. But where I think it truly became mainstream was when NBA 2K creators who had their own followings played basketball in real life. There are plenty of videos out there of people like Jester the Laser, LSK, and Cash Nasty who decided to diversify their content by playing each other and other personalities in basketball to show how good they were and for the entertainment of their audience. Now, almost a half decade later, these pioneers of the community have their own brand and make videos to this day where they play each other and other people in basketball, as it and 2K is what brought them there in the first place. This is what I like to call the first generation. Personalities in certain communities simply just playing basketball, usually for fun and for the entertainment of their audience. It usually never got too competitive as these people were pretty much novices at the sport and people understood that. But with a sport as big as basketball, where it's for pretty much everyone, those type of videos were very enjoyable to watch at the time. Now, whether you're making fun of your favorite creator for being bad or for being good, it didn't matter. It was usually for fun, as these guys never usually take themselves seriously, unless you're Flight, but that's a different story for a different video. Now, from that point, we evolved into the second generation, from where it was a very casual community of personalities from all places like YouTube, now turns into a place for actual basketball players to enjoy competitive basketball. The second generation of the IRL basketball community started from people like Devontae Friga, AJ Lepre, J Lawball, and many others. People who played the sport competitively, whether it was coming out of their high school, college, or even professional careers, and showing YouTube their skills for competitive entertainment. Now, as you can imagine, this was a step up for many people, as now there was actual competitive basketball being played by skillful people rather than people who played it casually and just didn't possess the attributes from the people I mentioned before. You can find these videos of people going against randoms at their own subscribers' gyms, playing in leagues, and doing intense 1v1s against others. Now, I consider this generation to be somewhat similar to the first, except it's just full of skillful people. However, now comes the subject of today's video, what I believe to be the downfall of the IRL basketball community, the third generation. Now, what do I call the third generation of the IRL basketball community? To simplify, let this compilation give you a good idea.
Pussy, bro. No, nigga. Me, bro. No.
This is what I like to call the third generation of the IRL basketball community. Ignorance for entertainment. Videos of these creators going to the hood, basically either putting themselves in potentially harm's way for views or patronizing people in the hood while playing basketball, again, for views. Now, there are two people who I believe started this, and even others who followed suit when he became a way to get a bunch of views. In category 1, Devontae Friga, and in category 2, Nick Briz. Now, the video isn't about Friga specifically, so I'll make it quick, but looking at his and other people's content, you can see a major spike in their views once they played at random parks where fights and altercations were involved. And what did these videos include? Well, as you can imagine, niggas getting aggro when the main person starts playing well, that same person getting roughed up because of street rules, sometimes a fight, maybe someone brings a knife or a gun, the police is then called, stuff like that. But guess what? It brought views. It brought notoriety on other social platforms, and most importantly, it brought money. You can clearly see a huge jump in views consistently when these two people were uploading this type of stuff, and again, the same goes for other creators. But when it came to Nick Briz in category 2, when he's going to these places and causing the issue itself, there's another problem on its own. Let's read some of these titles and thumbnails. Trash talkers jump me. Pure chaos at the park. Trash talker punch my boy in the face. You'll see plenty of this type of stuff on his channel, and he considers it entertainment and will try to downplay the situation after some of these more intense videos. So let me repeat this. Nick Briz is going into hoods with a camera, antagonizing niggas, talking shit, the absolute works, and causing fights on the daily for entertainment, views, and most importantly, money. He is promoting ignorance and is going to cause the downfall of the IRL basketball community. This man is basically risking his life almost every time he plays basketball for YouTube, for views, and money. Now, anyone who does this type of content is absolutely at risk. Even someone like Devontae Friga, who doesn't do all the bullshit Nick Briz does, has video titles like Real Shots Fired at the Park, Leave Before It Gets Bad, Cops Kicked Us Out, and even a video with a thumbnail of Friga showing himself leaking blood from playing basketball. Now let me ask y'all just this one question real quick. How do you find these videos entertaining? The basketball or the fighting and the altercations? If you say the fighting or the altercations these people get in, then you can see why I think the IRL basketball community is going downhill. And what's 10 times worse about all of this is the fact that Nick Briz brings this same attitude outside the basketball court, going on many Instagram lives, shit-talking many creators.
Amp doesn't want smoke, bro. I've talked to them guys. They say they don't want any smoke. I think they're like nervous or something. Thinking about, do my videos in the lab, do they offend you? Do they make you sad and make you offended, and then make you want to just get mad and want to fucking, you know what I'm saying, express your frustration for how offended you are, little fucking girl? Everyone in the live, screen record this pussy. Now show him running and what he does. Show him running, and now look at this pussy run. He take off running. I'm up talking to him. He take off running. Now watch this. Look, he take off running. Watch. Now watch. Yeah, he go to the car. Now look at this little pussy. Look at that little pussy. Go back. Look at this little pussy.
And he's even talked about assaulting a 17-year-old Mikey Williams, and let me remind you, Nick Briz is currently 26.
Go on fucking live and talk a little bit of shit because someone's talking shit. Mikey Williams, if I saw you in real life, I would slap the fuck out of your face, boy. The hype you're riding off of fucking Bronny will eventually fucking wear off. The shit, I don't give a fuck about this kid. I always supported this kid. I always watch his little videos and shit when he played with LeBron's son and shit, and hope the best for him. But for this motherfucker to go out of his way to talk shit and shit, bro, I didn't even want to do this. This motherfucker's talking shit. I will literally take you and fucking slap you in the mouth and make you fucking apologize, little boy.
What Nick Briz and other people are doing, in my opinion, is dragging a once great community of people wanting to show their prowess in basketball and dragging its name through the mud. I do not like how he is going to low economic places, antagonizing niggas because he wouldn't get these type of reactions if he went to a white place in town. He goes to strictly public parts in the hood to start up shit. Get an altercation for YouTube, and then boom, profit. And then guess what? Him and other people won't be satisfied until some dude who doesn't care about his life does a pumped up kicks, just so I don't get demonetized, and just let it fly. But it wouldn't surprise me if he used that for views, sympathy, and even more money, even though him and his crew starts all the altercations that make this shit happen in the first place. And guess what? This foolishness is even spreading. You have more channels seeing the potential in this type of content and doing the exact same thing. You even have Ball is fucking Life doing the same type of content and paying people to produce it. And I've never been a fan of Ball is Life, but even seeing this, for me, is a new low for them. Now, to talk about my perspective as a person who grew up for my first 14 years of life in the places that he's played at, let me at least send a quick message to anyone who makes this type of content. Basketball in places like these are meant for a way for people to stay off the streets, or at least not take part in street activities. It's a pastime. 9 times out of 10, fights like this don't even happen unless two people just don't straight up like each other. But when you have these YouTubers coming into these areas and put them on camera, it basically turns into something simple into a spectacle, which is the worst thing you can do, because you already know these dudes will turn a round of basketball into the NBA finals real fucking quick when you A, show them up, especially with a camera recording everything, and then B, antagonize these people. You put those two things together and don't be surprised if you get fucked up in one way or another. These niggas will bring to self-defense if anything goes down, because it's the life that they live. I even know people on my side of town, which is predominantly white by the way, who bring holes to the gym, even though we have the most chill games of basketball imaginable. But I already know it's a force of habit from where they came from. But when you have these YouTubers who make hundreds of thousands of dollars that don't live the daily like these people live, and then they go into their habitat and then disturb it on some dumb shit, you get reactions like these and titles like this. Now, it hasn't happened yet, but when it eventually does, and you already know what I'm referring to, don't come back and crying when you got hurt in a major way, because stuff like that happens on the daily life, and all of these people are doing is messing with a ticking time bomb. But I already know nothing will change. There is too much money that goes into it, because for some reason, and I am disappointed to say this as a watcher of YouTuber, but people like ignorance for some goddamn reason. Shit, we even have a whole challenge based on ignorance with the milk crate challenge, severely hurting people for the entertainment of others. This whole thing was just Darwinism at its finest. All of this will be fun and games, or I guess fun and content, until one of these dudes mess around with the wrong nigga and end up getting hurt. And you all know what I mean by getting hurt, but I can't say it since I'm on YouTube. Now, this whole video was made off the inspiration of this tweet from brother Omar himself on Twitter saying, "Let's abolish park basketball YouTube. Y'all killed the game and now the whole objective is to fight and embarrass." And we had the same exact opinion on that. However, looking back at his tweet, there seemed to be a lot of negative replies from that tweet, and for some reason people actually like what Nick Briz and others promoted.
You so negative, dog. It's just content. Loudly crying face shit is entertaining.
Is it entertained to make up arguments, clickbait titles, and start fights with randoms?
Watching Carlos airball and spew random nonsense is entertaining to me. Yes.
So just as a little extra treat, I asked him for an interview to elaborate on his views with you all today. Also, subscribe to his YouTube channel if you don't mind. First question, what inspired you, or what type of events happened to cause you to make that tweet that you made?
It was honestly that TikTok that I sent you. I can't remember the guy, K Showtime or something like that.
Right.
Showtime is his name, and essentially it's a TikToker trying to be like these park basketball guys, going to the park and just being overly aggressive for no reason, not even really trying to play basketball. They started a fight with what looks to be a random, and then all his friends come in after they push him first. The random kid, after they push the random kid first, all of K Showtime's friends come in, about 8 of them, and they really surround him and start barking on him and everything like that. And I'm like, I've had enough. I had enough watching this. I've had enough watching this.
Yeah, and I saw the replies on your tweet, and a lot of people were just saying it's for entertainment. That's just how street ball is. Do you agree with that?
I don't. So first and foremost, I guess entertainment is a subjective thing.
Right.
I think it's entertaining to fake pick fights though, like, and then with the potential that they could end up being real. Because my thing is, you bark on these people, you don't know who they are in real life. So it is what it is. And then the second part of the question, and this is the part that I really have an issue with. That's not street basketball. Like, I don't understand why people feel like street basketball is synonymous with like being rough and tackling and yelling and everything like that. It can be an element sometimes, But the rough thing is like, that's not basketball. That's literally you just trying to tackle somebody. And that's what some of these videos are. Like, some of these videos are just people straight tackling, pushing people out the air. That's not synonymous with playing basketball outside.
You're right about that. You're right about that. And I guess it's more because the stereotype. But speaking of that stereotype, do you find it right that these YouTubers do go into these hoods to then antagonize these people to get these type of clips?
Well, so let's talk about it. The concept of calling it a street basketball video is clickbait and it's disingenuous.
Right.
Because I can guarantee you that these folks are going to parks in like decent neighborhoods. They're just going to an outside park in a decent neighborhood. But since it's outside, for whatever reason, that's got caught up into the whole street nickname or hood nickname or whatever the case may be. They're not going to real, like, you've never seen these basketballs in the real inner cities. You've never seen this in Detroit. You've never seen this in the inner cities of like the south side of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? You've never seen these in the true inner cities. These guys are going to suburbs, playing basketball, and for whatever reason, since it's outside, people are calling it the street in the hood. And honestly, that does give a bad taste or leave a bad representation about what like is actually going on.
But my main thing is they go to these places looking for trouble so they can get these clickbait titles of, oh, the cops showed up, oh, this nigga pulled out a Uzi, stuff like that. So do you find it right for these people to just go to these places basically looking for trouble, whether it be intentional or unintentional? Because they should know what they're getting into going to these places.
And that's also part of the problem, I would say. Where I play outside basketball, people would think it's the suburb because of the zip code,
right,
or where it's the county or whatever. But what they don't realize is that area or that park is adjacent to what will be considered a bad area, or what most people would consider the hood. So those people come over, and I say that to say, I think these YouTubers go to a specific place thinking it's like a suburban place, and they never know who is there. So to answer your question, no, that like they definitely, I feel like it's intentional to create content, and cool, I understand what content creation is. But at the end of the day, you never know who is there. And even in the suburbs, like, you never know who is there, what could be going on. You don't know who those quote unquote suburb people are. They have weapons and they can harm people too. Like, I just feel like people don't understand what the risk is truly when they do these things.
I understand. Yeah, that's exactly one of the points I made in my video, mainly because if you see this stuff happen once, even if you go to a whole nother state, you can imagine it happening again in some sort of fashion. Because I've already seen multiple videos of the cops coming up because people are starting up fights. In the case of like a Devontae Friga, he goes to the park, doesn't do anything to piss them off, rather just maybe like a little bit of trash talk, but he's a basketball player, so he's entitled to do that when other people trash talk him, and they get agitated because of how good he is. When it comes to like a Nick Briz, who goes in and antagonizes these people on purpose to start these brawls, to start these fights, and then his other teammates are there doing the exact same thing. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about that causes all these issues with me about literally making this type of content on purpose in order to get views and to get money.
See, I don't know if you ever saw that. It's a Devontae Friga video where he goes to a park in Ohio, and I think he might have played a game, and they lost that game or something like that. But ultimately, it was just the fact that they had cameras and they were new.
You're right about that, because that's also a part of it.
The people in the neighborhood, or the people that are locals, they started bringing out, and he cut the video short. They rode to a gas station down the street or whatever the case may be. But I say all that to say, that's what I mean by you never know who's at these places. So you get the Nick Brizzes, the K Showtimes, you get these people thinking that they can just go any place. First of all, I mean, these guys got agitated at Friga. He didn't even really get to display how good he was or whatever. They just got agitated because you're new and you got cameras. So now you insert someone like Nick Briz in the crew, and they want to agitate. I mean, truly agitate. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Now, my second main question is, where do you see the direction of the IRL basketball community going due to this trend?
I think at some point it's definitely gonna die off. I mean, well, let me say this: the Nick Brizzes of the world will strategically pick their matchups. That's why they're challenging certain people, not challenging certain people. That's why they're going to certain parks and not going to certain parks.
Right.
I think what's going to happen, though, is that the others, the people that are newcomers or the lower, level content creators in that same space, they're going to start going to the wrong places and the wrong thing's going to happen. And I also wonder how this will translate when it gets colder, because I don't know if they'll still do the same thing just in an indoor facility. But when you start going to those, it's going to take one or two people going to the wrong place and be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and somebody else just has bad intentions.
But this goes into my final big question. Do you think spreading ignorance online like this is a good thing? And let me add on to that too. Ball is Life does the exact same thing. One of the biggest basketball social media outlets out there does the exact same thing as they do. They pay these people, these influencers, to go out to parks, cause a scene, and then fights happen, whatever trash talk happens, really physical basketball happens. There's only been a couple of videos, but it's still a majority of what they have posted that ends up in like a fight or a brawl, but it's still a channel with over, I think, 3 million, 4 million subscribers promoting that type of stuff. And in Nick Briz's case, he's the one blowing up for it right now. Do you think it's a good idea to be spreading this type of stuff online?
It's funny that you say that, and I actually like this question. I feel like, one, this will further divide the people who exclusively hoop in gyms and exclusively, and people that hoop at the park. Because I know you know those people from playing basketball recreationally, those people that say, oh, I'm not going outside. I won't hoop outside. I just won't do it. But it's because of stuff like this. Spreading ignorance on the internet is just an all-around bad thing. I understand good fun, and it might have even been funny the first time because, talking smack is always good. I even get to talking smack. But I also feel like there's an art of talking smack. When you say somebody's trash, you're picking apart their actual game or, talking about what's going on in the moment. That, to me, is trash talk. You, off the jump, calling somebody B's and MFs and where your mom at and this, that, and the third, that's just straight ignorance. And you never know what the person that's viewing that is going to take from that. I don't know what's going on. Maybe folks are just bored with NBA basketball, but I don't know what Ball is Life is doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they feel the need to take this and run with it, but that's horrible that they're using their platform to
exactly
project this type of stuff like that. That's disgusting. But all in all, if you spreading ignorance on the internet, we all like to get a little ignorant. I ain't gonna act, but at the same time, you got to know when to be careful because people will take that. Because where I'm from, calling somebody a bitch and all, that's a fight off rip. So don't come. That's gonna influence the kid. Well, Nick Briz came out here off the rip, the ball. They didn't even check ball, and he already started calling him a bitch. So now I can do the same. No, that's gonna get that kid's teeth punched in, and we're gonna have a whole different situation. But it's because he was watching Ball is Life and Nick Briz. We gotta stop this.
And even in my video, I've even asked do you watch this for the basketball or for the ignorance?
No.
Because some of these people that I used to watch that do this now, I can't watch them anymore because I'm not here to watch that. I'm here to watch some basketball.
It's for the ignorance. And the crazy thing is, I wish I could say this. I wish I could say we were at the peak of it. But as I scroll on my TikTok, ever since I saw that Hey Showtime guys TikTok, I see more and more and more people trying to emulate with less and less and less followers, and that lets me know that it's about to be some sort of a mini explosion even at the end of the summer.
Yep.
But just a mini explosion, and that's when it gets to the point where people lose the fact that there's some control in this. So they lose the fact that Nick Briz is going to good neighborhoods and doing this, and you're gonna get somebody doing it in a bad neighborhood. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
And the unfortunate thing is, this type of stuff brings in views. If you look at these people's channels, compare and contrast their views of them playing actual basketball to them playing in these parks and getting fucked up, basically.
That's crazy.
You can compare the views, and obviously the ones that's more superior is them going to these neighborhoods and playing basketball and having these altercations with people. And like you said earlier, the influence that they have is going to cause smaller channels or just people who just want to get their feet wet in this to do the same thing. Because they see the views, they see the notoriety these people have, and they want to emulate that. And at the end of the day, it's going to cause some type of downfall, which we're seeing right now, even though you could argue that this is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
The only thing that I can say is, if you're going to go to the park and play basketball, play basketball. I understand that it can get a little rough, but even that's an indoor, so I don't understand why that's synonymous. Rough play shouldn't be synonymous to park basketball. Hoodness shouldn't be synonymous with an outdoor court. But just go out there, play basketball, and you could talk some smack and trash, but really watch what you say, because you never know who's out there.
Now, with that interview done from a different person's perspective, let me ask again for the people who found my video. Why do you watch people who make these type of videos? Is it for the basketball, or is it for the toxicity? If it's for the toxicity, you're watching it for the wrong reason, and the creator is making the wrong type of content, in my honest opinion. I'm already disappointed that it's coming to this point, even though I know none of this stuff is new, but I find all of this to be really gross. But again, to reiterate, people like the Nick Brizes of the world, the Frigga potentially, and the Balls Life crews won't be satisfied until somebody winds up seeing the pearly gates just for some content. After watching this video, please think long and hard of why you're here on YouTube if you're a creator, or even a viewer at that. The world in this country is already full of dumb shit, and adding to it will only cause the downfall of ourselves. Now, with that being said, this video is coming to its end, and I hope you enjoyed, as my vision for this channel is to inform and entertain. And even though this topic was a bit more serious than my usual video topics, I am glad to say that I can use my platform to spread my views on this type of dumb shit. But be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new for more interesting basketball content like this every week for your enjoyment, and as usual, follow my Twitter and Instagram for the daily life of Alvini and other channel news, and check out my Twitch for weekly streams. And if you want to talk to me, there is always my Discord. Links in the description. But with all of that out of the way, this is your boy, Alvini Linguine, saying peace. Also, because of this video, I've now made a second channel for actual commentary content, so subscribe there if you want to see more videos, I guess.